The word coup is getting used a lot in the media recently to describe some of the things happening in the US government. But what does it actually mean? Coup, as it is used in English today, comes from an old French word meaning a strike or blow. Coup has also become commonly used in English in government and political situations in the expression coup d'état, which is also French and translates literally to strike of the state. It refers to any sudden, decisive act, especially an unexpected change in the government. This is not to be confused with a coup de grace, which refers to a finishing strike or finishing blow or the final strike of mercy. It can be used to talk about the final strike to take the life of a person or creature that is mortally wounded. It can also be used to talk about the final strike or the final act that is decisive, like when a situation culminates in one single decision. With that important distinction out of the way, let's return to coup d'état and talk about all the different types of coups there are, because there have been a lot. Just between 1945 and 2024,
there were an estimated 1,094 coup events.
Not all of them were successful, of course, and there were a lot of coup-ish things that happened, so it was important for researchers to determine what exactly constitutes a coup, as opposed to, say, a revolution, a rebellion, or a mutiny. Here's the three-part criteria a group of coup researchers landed on in 2011. 1. A coup is an attempt to overthrow the person in the chief executive position. It's gotta be a chief executive for it to be a coup. Otherwise, it might just be termed a mutiny, like when a ship full of pirates turns on their captain. 2. Coups are undertaken by any elite who is part of the state apparatus. This can include members of the military and civilians in government. This helps differentiate coups from civil wars, for example, where tons of regular civilians participate that might not have government ties. 3. The activity to overthrow the chief executive must be illegal, and violence does not have to be present. The illegal factor is important here. If a group in the government legally does things that get the chief executive to leave their position, it's just political pressure. So it's gotta be illegal to be a coup. And yeah, coups don't need to be violent, though some are. This definition was expanded on through the Coup d'Etat project at the Klein Center for Advanced Social Research. The Coup d'Etat project broadened the criteria for a coup and listed 5 requirements. 1. An initiating actor. There has to be someone or a group of people initiating the coup. 2. Incumbent targets. The target is someone or a group of people that have power over national policy. This could be presidents, prime ministers, dictators, etc. 3. There has to be a real short-term threat to the incumbent's power. 4. Irregular means. The coup can't happen through legal or normal approaches, otherwise it's just political pressure or a leader resigning. The coup happens through threats, coercion, or force, usually. Not all coups are violent. And 5, there has to be an organized effort that takes the power away from the incumbent. Even if they retain their title, it has no real power. With that list of criteria in mind, let's now look at the 10 types of coups as defined by the Klein Research Center. 1. Military coup. The military turns on the leader and takes over. This doesn't include cops, only active military. Importantly, military coups are done by people in military positions that don't have any actual governing power. 2. Dissident coup. A kind of mixed group of people who might be ex-politicians or ex-military or business owners or even random civilians are fed up and decide to start some stuff. Not as organized as, say, a rebel group, but they have concepts of a plan. This type of coup does not include cops or special security or anything because those are types of government arms. 3. Rebel coups. Think Princess Leia and her group of rebels stealing Death Star plans to try to take down the Empire, an organized group with military experience and political experience that has created a rebel alliance, if you will. These are organized militant groups. 4. Palace coup. A coup done by high-ranking members of the existing executive branch of the government. They break off into a separate faction and decide they're going to take over. It's a palace coup because the coup is coming from inside the house, or palace, or White House, or whatever the country's building is. 5. Foreign-backed coups. Pretty much just what it sounds like, but the foreign power works with some key insiders in the existing system to install a new leader that they prefer. 6. Auto coup, or self-coup. A coup done by whoever is in power at the moment to get more power or to extend their period of stay as head honcho. This could mean dismantling parts of government, crippling them, taking them away completely, etc. It also covers situations where the chief executive grants themselves superpowers that are totally illegal to do whatever they want, like declaring a state of emergency to extend their rule, or making it so that they get to suddenly make all the decisions for the country. 7. Forced resignation, a type of soft coup. This is resignation under threat of illegal removal. If some dissidents or a rebel group threaten to do something illegal unless the chief executive steps down and the person resigns, it's a forced resignation. If it's all legal, it's just political pressure. 8. Popular revolt. This happens when the people of a country hate their leader or leaders so bad that there is widespread civil unrest that forces a resignation, or the elites in the country manage to use illegal or irregular tactics to get those leaders to step down. 9. Counter-coup. The reverse Uno of coups. You launched a successful coup against me. I'm not into that. I coup you back within 1 month. 10. Coups that don't fit neatly into one of these categories, or where the people initiating the coup are not known. So let's say, for example, someone used technology or a virus or something to gain access to all the computers in the country and payment systems and daily life systems and phones, and use that access to take over the country. If done by a current leader, that would be a self-coup or auto-coup because it's done by the incumbent. If it was done by an organized militant group, it could be called a rebel coup. And the method by which the coup happened would perhaps fall into the other type of coup, or maybe we could make a new category for that and call it a techno-coup. The point here is that there are a lot of ways that coups can happen, and not all of them involve violence, though throughout history there are many examples that include violence or threats of violence. A coup that doesn't involve violence is called a soft coup. It's also important to mention that coups are categorized into 3 types: conspiracy, attempted coup, and successful coup. A conspiracy is a coup in the planning stages. All coups go through this. An attempted coup is a coup that was tried and it failed to achieve the goals of the coup. And a successful coup is a coup that worked and the targeted leader was removed from their position. We can apply all of these ideas and look at them with a very recent example in the US, the January 6th event at the Capitol. From the perspectives of political science researchers and historians, the January 6th event is a complex and nuanced event, and there are a lot of really interesting discussions about how to classify it. The Klein Center for Advanced Social Research, which gave us a lot of the frameworks for this video, classified January 6th as an unsuccessful coup, classifying it as a dissident coup and an auto coup or self-coup. This is because they recognize that while many people on that day came with the intention of peaceful protest, there were people there who had some kind of plan for violent action, and these were recognized as dissidents in their classification framework. The auto coup portion refers to Trump's attempts since November of the previous year and even past January 6th to overturn the results of the election. So under the Klein Center structure, the event would be considered an unsuccessful coup attempt. New York history and Italian studies professor Ruth Ben-Ghiat agreed with the Klein Center's assessment of January 6th as a coup in a really fascinating discussion of the event by political and historical experts. Her reasoning also noted that because the attempt came from within the party and many elected representatives were at the rally, and the movement began in November and therefore had some organizational efforts, it could be called a coup. On the other side, Mises Wise writer Ryan McMakin suggested the word riot to describe the day because of difficulty pinpointing a specific goal for the people who participated in storming the Capitol. He also suggests that there was not enough support from within the government for the event to have been termed a coup, suggesting that this kind of internal support, especially military support, would have been necessary. Another participant, Matt Cleary, associate professor of political science at Syracuse University, took a kind of middle ground and preferred the word insurrection rather than coup or riot. He agreed with the assessment that Trump couldn't rely on the support of any institutional actors, most notably any kind of military or police force. He also referenced examples of coups in Latin America, where violence or threats of violence with military or organized militant groups are key parts of coups, which was absent from this situation. For this reason, he explained insurrection was most appropriate because there were some actors who entered the Capitol building with some kind of plan in mind to make a change in leadership. So even experts in political science and history don't precisely agree on what might be the best word to call the January 6th event. The discussion also referenced the different criteria that could be used to call something a coup and contained a lot of examples of coups from world history. It's a really good quick read that has lots of insights. I'll link it in the description along with my other sources so you can take a look. So why does any of this matter? Well, it matters not only for the society that experiences the coup, but also for other nations. Clarifying that a coup has taken place in a country can indicate instability, which can affect the ways other countries deal with that country. Also, it's super interesting and important to note that an occurrence of a coup raises the likelihood that more coups will occur in that country moving forward. One analyst of coups notes, once a country has had a single coup event, it will have on average 5 such events over 70 years. Identifying an event as a coup, whether successful or not, as opposed to, say, pockets of civil unrest or a mutiny, can indicate that the country needs to work on itself in some ways as well. Now that you know all about coups, go forth into the world, or even just the comment section, to pronounce this word correctly. It's not coup, oh no. And discuss your thoughts amazingly and eloquently now that you are freshly loaded up on coup knowledge. And let me know what other words you'd like me to do a deep dive on. Hope you enjoyed this one.